Hey, it's Sarah from Spark Practice, and today I want to talk about the article that just came out in the American Viola Society Journal. If you turn to page 41, you will see an article called Incorporating Mindfulness and Neuroscience in Lessons. And this is something that's super important when we're talking about healthy performance excellence. So first we're going to start with the Spark Practice mindsets. Mindset is so important because this is what's going to lead to openness and being able to develop more freely than if we're already building in roadblocks and confidence blocks along the way. At Spark Practice, we talk about 4 mindsets. There's an additional one since the article was written. We talk about fixed versus growth. A fixed mindset is going to have the signature of, oh, there's so much more talented than I am. I could never be like that. Growth is more along the lines of, well, if I want to put my energy towards that, I'm sure that I can figure it out. Then there's lack versus abundance. A lack mentality is going to be more like, oh, well, there aren't enough resources to go around. I have to take everything here and this is only mine. Abundance is more like, oh, well, let's share resources. Let's work together. Let's contribute to make everything better. And we know that if we go together, we can go much further. Then there's fear versus courage. Every decision that we make either comes from a place of fear or a place of courage. As you go through your day, just take a minute to notice where you're coming from, whether a decision is made in fear or how you can make that decision from a place of courage. You might end up with the same answer, but where it comes from is so important about being authentically aligned with yourself. The 4th mindset that isn't in the article, but is something that we talk a lot about at Spark Practice, is breaking versus building. Now, we talk about this in stress, there being different kinds of stress, good stress and bad stress. We talk about this in feedback, encouragement, in how we're practicing, the number of hours, the kinds of things we're doing, etc. If we're breaking, this is something that's going to be hurting our system and hurting our neurological safety. And if we're building, this is something that can help us go so much further and be more open and contribute so much more to the conversation. So let's turn the page, and you can see on pages 42 and 43, then we get into the Spark Practice lesson protocol. Now, what this is for is it's just to help structure our lesson time so that as teachers, things go so much more smoothly and we know exactly how to hold our students accountable, but also contribute the most to their education. As a student, we know exactly what to expect so that we can be as prepared as possible to get the most out of that lesson and to frame the conversation so that we know exactly what to do in the practice room when we get out of our lesson. First is the intro. This is self-regulation. This is the idea that everybody is regulated enough in their nervous system and calm enough to be present and available for this learning exchange. Then there's the playthrough, but this isn't a playthrough, this is a performance. Part of what's necessary in a lesson is practicing performance. And again, this is where we're exposing ourselves to a little bit of stress. We're giving ourselves our stress antidote, coming back to neurological safety, and then stepping into performance brain and really throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what's working, what's not working, and where these little things break down so that we can use our performance skills and also our digestive system of stress to support us through the performance. A really important note is that the performance could be a measure, it could be 2 measures, a piece, it could be a movement, it could be a transition between 2 notes. It's whatever you decide is the performance element for the week. And again, because practice for performance is different than just skill learning, we're grouping these things together from the very beginning, which helps boost on-stage confidence and long-term efficiency from day 1. Then there's the reflection element. And this is where, as a teacher, we're coaching the student how to talk to themselves and how to evaluate a performance. This is also an opportunity for the student to communicate what they thought, what was going on for them, what their sort of process was during the performance, and if they're really able to stay in performance brain or if there are some leaky patches as well. Then there's the learning part, and this is where we as a teacher are communicating our competencies, our skills, our concrete solutions, our practice methods, our ideas to the student and make sure that they know exactly what we're talking about. This is also an opportunity for them to ask questions. Usually when we're using this format, people are coming to lessons with a much higher quality of questions, which makes everything much more enjoyable for everybody on the teaching and the learning side. Then there's the planning phase, and this is just deciding what happens between now and the next time we see each other. This is also sort of like a prescription for the practice room, and you'll see on the worksheet that you're helping set up an hour and a half of practice if that's appropriate for their level or less. You're going to be able to help your student decide specific strategies to solve specific problems. This means that everybody's gaining in efficiency, autonomy, and responsibility, which is great because as a teacher we repeat ourselves so much less, and as a student we know exactly what to do. I invite you to try this protocol and bring the worksheet into your studio, especially for students that you might have a little bit of trouble connecting with, or you're not sure exactly how to help them or support them the best. This works great for neurodivergence and a lot of different kind of profiles. And then as a student, bring it to your teacher if you want to really get the most out of your lessons, and this is something that you can try with them. Thank you so much for watching. Please reach out if you have any questions. I'd love to come support you in any way that I can. And again, if you're looking for practice efficiency and to practice for performance, just remember to spark. Spark is sound, performance, attuned intonation, rhythm, and kinetic integration, the intentional practice system where we're bringing all of the performance elements together for healthy musical excellence. Happy practicing. We'll see you really soon.